Assalamualaikum Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. The Honorable Miss Deta Desvitasari, Magister of Education, as my lecturer. I'm Agustina Maharani. My student number is 18, 20, 20, 50, and 35. I'm from Tiba 2018. Okay, today I'm going to discuss about Chapter 3, Morphological Features. Let's get started. Morphology. Chapter 3. Morphological Features. In previous chapter, we have discussed about lexical entries, but in this chapter, there is lexical meaning. Okay, let's review. Lexical entries include the three dimensions. First is phonological form, second, syntactic features, and the last is semantic form. So, for lexical meaning, it consists of two types. First is sense, and the second is grammatical meaning. Okay, now I cannot talk about lexical entries, but I will talk about lexical meaning. What is sense? Sense have two meanings. Is for native speaker and non-native speakers. For native speakers, sense is what a stem has or contains. For example, in native speaker, sense also called something that comes to our mind or the concept of the word. For example, when a person mentions the word tree, we can think directly about the tree. It has branches, leaves, and other description about tree. And the second meaning is for non-native speakers, sense is the translation of the words. For non-native speakers, sense is the translation of the word. For example, when British people want to learn Indonesian language, they cannot know the meaning of the word before they translate to their own language. What is grammatical meaning? Grammatical meaning is a relating the sense to the grammatical concept. For example, when we hear the morpheme drinks, drink is the sense and the s is grammatical meaning that refers to drinks is for plural. Is it not only happen in noun, but can also happen in the verb. For example, in verb eat, it have sense and grammatical meaning. The sense is eat is the action from eat, and the grammatical meaning is the past form from eat. Okay, next is grammatical morpheme. Grammatical morpheme different from grammatical meaning. If grammatical meaning relating the sense to the grammatical concept, but grammatical morpheme is the morpheme that carry only grammatical meaning. It means that the one morpheme only have grammatical meaning. For example, was, were, am is are. Was and were is from past form, and am is are from present form. Next is about portmanteau morpheme. Portmanteau morpheme is the morpheme that combine two or more grammatical meaning, or also we know with blends. For example, in morpheme branch, there is two morpheme. The first morpheme is morpheme ber for breakfast, and then second is morpheme anch for lunch. And another example is spork, morpheme sip for spoon, and then the morpheme orc for frog. So it's to be spoke. Okay, next is componential analysis. Componential analysis is the analyzing the component of meaning. For example, in Indonesian word, kami is plus one and plus plural. It means that kami is the first person and plural. Plural is mean more than one person. And the second example is mereka. Mereka is plus two and plus plural. It means that mereka is second person and plural. And in combinatorial analysis, there is exclusive and inclusive. What is exclusive? Exclusive is exclude the addressee. But we must know what is addressee. Addressee is the receiver or your listener. For example, when A talk with B, A said, kami akan pergi ke kampus. The morpheme kami on there is exclude the B or addressee. Next, what is inclusive? Inclusive is include the addressee. For example, when A talk with B, A said, kita akan pergi ke kampus. The morpheme kita is include the B or addressee. Next is natural class. Natural class is called natural class when they having the same sense. For example, from word drink have many from like in verb 1, verb 2, verb 3, and present continuous. Verb 1 is drink, verb 2 is drank, verb 3 is drunk, and then the present continuous is drinking. They can call one natural class because they become from some sense. The sense from drink, drank, drunk, and drinking is drinks, so they call natural class. Or it can happen in noun, for example in singular and plural. For singular is child and then plural is children. The difference is only in singular and plural, but they have some sense is child. So child and children is one natural class because they from same sense. Okay, next about peripatetically. Peripatetically is using more than word to address a tenses. In English, we cannot using one word to address the tenses. But how with conditional sentences? Conditional sentence consists of three types. For the first is true in the present or future. The second is untrue in the present or future. And the third is untrue in the past. For peripatetically, many examples on from untrue in the past. Example is, if I had known about the meeting, I would have attended it. This case, impossible to happens or called as a regret. Next about disjoint reference. Disjoint reference prevents two noun phrases in the same simplex clause from referring to the same individual, except with explicit reflexive and idiomatic expression. For example, I see myself. Myself is the reflexive pronouns. We cannot make example with I see me because me is the pronoun from I, not it, and me not reflexive pronouns. The another example, he saw him. Him in here not object pronoun from he because him in here refers to other person. It means that he as a person is he saw another people with masculine gender. Okay, next is features of aspect. Feature of aspect, there is four aspects. The first is aspect perfect. Aspect perfect is aspectual concept which implies the completion of an action, or we know like perfect tense. So we can make an example of aspect features with using as plus has or have plus verb 3 plus object. The second aspect is iterative. Iterative is the repetition of an action, or as we know in present tense, because present tense describe our habits or habitual action. And next is durative. Durative is the duration of an action. We can see in the perfect tense in using for. For example, I have learned English for 2 years. For this sentence, the duration when I learned English is 2 years. Next is last aspect is incoative. Incoative is the beginning of an action. It is also in perfect tense, but in using since. For example, I have learned English since 2015. The beginning of I learned English is since 2015. Okay, next about finite and infinitive. Finite is verb forms or verb change when the tense was changed. For infinitive is not influenced by the tense or is not changed when the tense is changed. For example, I wanted to join the yesterday party. Wanted is finite because it changed when the tense was changed. And to join is infinitive because it is not changed when the tense was changed.
Okay, next is local markedness. Markedness in linguistics is different from commons. Marked is used when we want to create new morpheme from the common. For example, in morpheme whiter, whiters, widow, widower. Whiters masculine. If we want to create the feminine, we must add ess in the end of the word whiter. Same as whiter, for widow, if we want to create the masculine, we must add er in the end of the word widow. Next about syncretism. Syncretism is the same formal expression for distinct categories that form a natural class. Syncretism is focused on categories from the morphemes. For example, in morpheme drink, drank, drunk, and drinking, it from verb 1, verb 2, verb 3, and verb ing. Verb 1, verb 2, and verb 3 and verb ing are called syncretism because they are the categories from one natural class. It is also happen in noun, singular and plural form are called syncretism. Neutralization. Neutralization is the feature used is natural one. Feature of language that focus on neutral form. For example, in Indonesian there is a morpheme dia, and in English there are she for female and he for masculine, but the neutral is morpheme dia. Okay, last is feature for collision conventions. Feature for collision conventions is govern the assignment of features to complex words. Feature for collision conventions same with 3 morphemes, but it is focused on part from the morpheme like plus n or minus v. Plus n explain if the morpheme is part of noun.
For example, in morpheme formation, it is the plus n and minus v. It explains that formation is type from noun, and The symbol from noun is Asian, and the rest is plus V and minus N. It's explain the verb that form is part from verb. Okay, that's all for my explanation. Sorry if I have many mistakes. Last I say, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.